Today a reader, tomorrow a leader. SSET Englishtown.
Hello students, this is Madeline, teacher, and today we are going to be continuing with reading for 2A with the reading workbook and in a dark room. So please make sure you have those and let's get started. We are going to start on page 43 with our vocab quiz, okay? So let's do this together. At home, if you want to pause the video now and see if you can do it by yourself, and then I will check together. But we will do this right now. Okay, so number 1, we have graveyard. So a graveyard is what? A graveyard is an area of ground where people are buried. So it is where you put in the ground dead people. That is a graveyard. Okay, number 2 is corpse. What is a corpse? What is a corpse? A corpse is the dead body of a person. So that's C. Number 2, corpse is dead body of a person. Number 3, ribbon. What is a ribbon? A ribbon is a long, narrow piece of cloth. Number 4, we have untie. What does untie mean? Okay, so here's a hint. For shoes, when you put them on, you have to tie your shoes. And then, when you take off your shoes, you untie your shoes. So untie is D, loosen. Take the shoes, and you can't see my shoes on the camera, but you tie your shoes, and then you untie your shoes. Okay. Number 5, we have wedding, and wedding is E, a marriage ceremony. So wedding is one person and 2 people. They get married. Before, they are boyfriend, girlfriend. After, they are husband, wife. Okay, good. So the next part, make sure you have the answers written down. 1 second. Okay, so the next part. Will I be like you, will I be you when I grow up? This is, will I be like you when I grow up? Will I be the same as you? That is what like means in this. So number 2, he was like all the other boys. He was tall. So he was like all the other boys. He was tall. So this one, we want to say, except he was tall. He was the same as all boys, but one thing different, except he was tall. Number 3, she had a necklace, her neck. This one, we can say, she had a necklace around her neck. So, I have a necklace, see? Ooh. Here it is, necklace, and it goes around my neck in a circle, around, that is number 3. Number 4, the doctor told the very old man that he was, what? The doctor told the very old man that he was dying. This is how we spell dying. Dying spelling is D-Y-I-N-G. Number 5, when I untied the shoelace, my shoe off. So we can say my shoe fell off. Okay. So, good. So that is the end of your vocab review. So now, Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so now let's take our book out and we will get started on reading. So today we are going to be starting with 2 stories, In the Graveyard and The Green Ribbon. My favorite story in this book is The Green Ribbon, actually. I think this story is very scary. It's very fun. So let's start with In the Graveyard and go to page 18. Okay. And I will erase this, so make sure you have the right answers written down. So Ashley, did you read the book before, or do you want me to read? Do you want to read the book, or do you want me to read? You read? Okay. Did Rose teacher read? Yes? Or Ashley read? Rose teacher. Okay, Rose teacher read. Okay, good. So let's go to In the Graveyard, okay? So I will read the book. So, actually, yes. So, on page 18, In the Graveyard, a woman in a graveyard sat. Ooh, very short and very fat. Ooh, she saw 3 corpses carried in. Ooh, very tall and very thin. Next page. To the corpses, the woman said, will I be like you when I'm dead? Ooh. To the woman, the corpses said, you will be like us when you are dead. Next page. To the corpses, the woman said, ah! Okay, funny story. So in this story, we see the woman is scared because the corpses are talking. Okay, so let's answer the questions about this story. So let's describe the woman in the graveyard. First question. In this book, what is the woman in the graveyard like? Is she pretty? Is she nice? What do we think we can use to describe her? So, we can see on page 18, how do we describe the woman in the graveyard? She is, page 18, is page same? Oh yes. What is the woman in the graveyard like? We can say, she is what? She is short and fat. Okay, number 2. What was the woman doing in the graveyard? Okay, so we can see this in the words or in the pictures. I think my pictures are maybe different than your pictures, but you can look at the pictures. What was the woman doing in the graveyard? Was she reading a book? Was she watching a TV show? What was she doing? She was sitting. Or in my picture, she is eating. I don't know if your pictures are the same, but I can also write she was eating. Okay. Question number 3. What did the woman see in the graveyard? What did the woman see in the graveyard? She saw 3. Yep. So on this page, you are right. She saw 3 corpses carried in. We can see she saw 3 corpses carried in. Okay. Very tall and very thin. I like this story because it rhymes. On the next page of your reading workbook, We have number 4, question number 4. Oh, so describe the corpses. So what did the corpses look like? Were they pretty? Were they green? What did they look like? Yes, they were tall and thin. Okay. Number 5, what question did the woman ask the corpses? So let's look on the next page, page 20. What question did the woman ask the corpses?
The woman said, "Will I be like you when I am done?"
Yes, will I be like you when I'm dead? Will I be like you when I'm dead? Okay, so she wants to know, will I be like you when I'm dead? Will I be the same as you when I am dead? Or will I be different? Okay, the next question is, why did the woman scream? So on this page, 23, the woman screams. Why does the woman scream?
They say, "You will be like us when you are dead."
Yeah, so the corpses on page 21, they said to the woman, you will be like us when you are dead. So this is very scary. And why is it scary? What kind of people are the corpses? Are they alive people? No, they are dead people. Do dead people normally talk? No, dead people don't normally talk. It is very weird. And so the woman screamed because, like you said, the corpses, oops, I spelled corpses wrong. Corpses talked to the woman. They said something to her. They said, you will be like us when you are dead. And the woman screamed because dead people are talking, and it is very scary. And the last one, when she screamed, what happened to the corpses? Okay, so this question we have to look at the pictures only. It's not in the words of the books. When the woman screamed, what happened to the corpses? What did they do? You can look at the difference. In the first picture, the corpses are like this, here. And in the next picture, what are the corpses doing? In this page in your book, actually, what are the corpses doing? Let me just see different pictures. So here, they are what doing what, and then later they do what in the picture. Yeah, the corpses wake up or they stand up. They stand up or wake up. Good. Okay. So please finish writing these answers. Pause the video if you need more time to write it down. And then I'm going to erase this, and we are going to read the next story. Okay. Okay, so now let's go to the next story, The Green Ribbon, in my book, page 24. This is my favorite story in the book. It is very scary. Okay, so let's read. Once there was a girl named Jenny. She was like all the other girls except for one thing. She always wore a green ribbon around her neck. Next page. There was a boy named Alfred in her class. Alfred liked Jenny, and Jenny liked Alfred. One day, he asked her, "Why do you wear that ribbon all the time?" "I cannot tell you," said Jenny, but Alfred kept asking, "Why do you wear it?" And Jenny would say, "It's not important." Next page. Jenny and Alfred grew up and fell in love. One day, they got married. After their wedding, Alfred said, "Now that we are married, you must tell me about the green ribbon." "You still must wait," said Jenny. "I will tell you when the right time comes." Next page. Years passed. Alfred and Jenny grew old. One day, Jenny became very sick. The doctor told her she was dying. Jenny called Alfred to her side. Next page. "Alfred," she said, "now I can tell you about the green ribbon. Untie it and you will see why I could not tell you before." Slowly and carefully, Alfred untied the ribbon, and Jenny's head fell off. And that is the end of the story. I think this story is very creepy. What do you think of the story? Good story? Scary story? Weird story? Okay, let's go into the reading workbook and answer some questions about the story. So, the first question we have in the book is describe Jenny. So, what does Jenny look like and what does Jenny act like? How is Jenny?
She was like all the other girls.
She was like all the other girls, but what? She was like all the other girls. There was one thing different. What was the one thing different about Jenny?
She always wore green.
Yeah, she was like all the other girls, but one thing was different. Here, we can see she always wore a green ribbon. And it wasn't a ribbon in her hair, it was a ribbon around her neck. Okay, number 9. I made a mistake. So we described Jenny. She was well like all the other girls, but one thing was different. That is the answer to number 9. Sorry, I wrote it wrong incorrectly, so I'm going to erase this. The one thing that was different, we already talked about. One thing was different, she always wore a green ribbon around her neck. Okay, so because we erased this, I want you to tell me one more thing about Jenny based on the picture. Look at the picture of Jenny and tell me one thing about her. Your picture will be different than mine, it's okay. Anything you think about the picture. Is she ugly? Is she pretty? Does she look normal? Is she fat like the woman in the graveyard? What is she like? Do you have an idea? Pretty? Okay, you can say she is pretty. So number 10, what did Jenny say the first time Alfred asked about the ribbon? So on the next page, we meet Alfred, and what does Jenny say when he asks her about the ribbon? Yeah, she says, I can't tell you. And what else does she say? I can't tell you. It is not important. Okay. Next question. So later, Alfred and Jenny get married. After they get married, what does she say to Alfred about the ribbon? Does it change or is it the same? Is it the same? What does she say on these pages? What does she say to Alfred? He says, you must tell me about the green ribbon. And Jenny says, she says, you must wait. When will she tell him? Yes, so he needed to wait. And she would tell him when the right time came. Okay. So, next question. Later in the book, Jenny is sick and dying. What did she do to Alfred? So this is not what she said to Alfred. What did she do to Alfred? On these pages, I'm going to go to page 31. What does Jenny do? Yes, she is going to tell him about the ribbon. Before she tells him about the ribbon, she does one thing here too. Called him to her side, yes. She called him to her side. She said, Alfred, come here, Alfred. So she could tell him about the ribbon. So I can just write to tell him about the ribbon. Okay, so I'm going to erase these answers so I have more space to write. So if you need to write any answers, please pause the video to finish writing. Finish? Okay. Next one. When Alfred untied the ribbon, what happened? What happened? Alfred unties the ribbon, and what happens? Jenny's head fell off, yes. So, last question. What was the green ribbon for? Why did Jenny wear a green ribbon? What was it for? So we see Jenny's head, the ribbon is gone. Now Jenny's head falls off. So with the ribbon, what is it for? Does Jenny's head fall off? Why do you think Jenny needs the ribbon?
Take a look down.
Yeah, so her head doesn't fall off. The ribbon, so we can write many things. The ribbon stopped her head. So it didn't fall off. That is the reason for the ribbon. So with the ribbon, Jenny's head is on her head. Her head is on her neck. With no ribbon, her head is going to fall off. It stopped the head, so it didn't fall off. Okay, great. Okay, so finish writing this down, and then we will move on to the next page in the reading workbook. Okay, so on the next page, page 45, we are going to be doing another short vocabulary practice. What page are we reading today? 64. 46, oh. Okay, okay, so do you want some time to study and then do this by yourself? Yes? Okay, I will give you some time to study the vocab and then we will do the quiz. Okay, for this part, Ashley, I am going to read the definition and then you guess what the word is, okay? So, students, please fill this part out by yourself if you didn't already. And then I am going to read six words, and you will see if you can know what the words meaning is, okay? So the first one is going to be to have a wedding or become a husband and wife. You know what that word is. Okay, the next word is a place where one dead person is buried. A place where a dead person is buried under the ground. Okay, the next one is a dead person's body. We saw before. Dead person's body. The first letter is C. A dead person's body. Okay, the next word is your aunt or uncle's child. Your aunt or uncle's child. So we got an aunt or uncle, a name for the child of your aunt or uncle. You know? Okay. The next one, let me see. Okay, the next one is going to be okay. Have to do. First letter M. It is something you have to do. If we can remember this. First letter M. 4 letters. Have to do. The last one is going to be something that can be very bad for you. Not safe. Okay. So, those are all of the words. I think we're going to change number 4 actually because I think it's actually after the stories we are reading today. So sorry about that. I'm changing number 4. Yeah, number 4 will be now, not usual or not ordinary. So something like different. First letter S. Okay. So when we are finished, we are going to check together. So first one, oops, it's going to be, okay. I was driving past the cemetery when I saw a boy. What is a cemetery? Cemetery is C, the place in the ground where a dead body is buried. Number 2. Do you want a ride home? I asked. What is a ride? A ride is D, to go in a car. Number 3, I handed him my old sweater. It is cold tonight and you are wet. What is a sweater? sweater is B, a piece of warm clothing. I think you say sweater in Korean too, right? Yes, okay. Number 4, I wanted to see Jim's grave. Lying, oh, whoops, sorry, this is actually, sorry, I made a mistake. So, 1, cemetery is A, a piece of land that has lots of graves. So, sorry, my mistake. And 4, grave, one grave is a place where one dead body is buried. Okay, so 4 is C and 1 is A. My mistake, I'm very sorry. But yeah, cemetery is many graves. Cemetery, one grave is grave. Many dead people, cemetery. One dead person, grave. Okay, so next part. Check your answers. So first, I had said, let me go back so I can see the definition. First one was to have a wedding, become husband and wife, and it was marry. When you become husband and wife, you get married. So marry is number 1. Number 2, number 2 is a place where one dead person is buried. So only one dead person is a grave. Number 3, is another word for a dead person's body, and that is corpse. Okay. Number 4, I changed. Number 4 is going to be something that is not usual and not ordinary, and that is strange. Strange. Not usual, different. Okay, number 5 is going to be you have to do, and that is must. I must do this. I have to do this. You must study for your quiz. You have to, or your test or exam. Okay, number 6, last one, is something that can be bad for you or not safe. It is danger. It is danger if it can hurt you. Okay. So, now that we finished, let's take out our books in a dark, dark room, and we are going to read the next story. Yay! Okay. So, let's go. In the book to the next story after a green ribbon, which is going to be in a dark, dark room. The story the book gets its name from. Okay. So go to page 34 and 35 in my book, or whatever page in a dark, dark room starts. Dark, dark room. Okay. So, I will read the book, and you can read along with me. You found the right page? Okay, good. In a dark, dark wood, there was a dark, dark house. Next page. And in that dark, dark house, there was a dark, dark room. And in that dark, dark room, there was a dark, dark closet or chest. Next page. And in that dark, dark chest, there was a dark, dark shelf. And on that dark, dark shelf, there was a dark, dark box. And in that dark, dark box, there was a ghost. A ghost. We see a ghost on the next page. Okay, yes. So that is the story. I thought this story was very scary when I was a little kid. Do you think it's scary? Or not scary? A little bit scary. Okay. So let's go now in our reading workbook, the same page as our vocab quiz. We will answer questions about a dark, dark room. So first question. Okay, so where was the dark, dark house?
In the dark room.
Yes, it was in a dark, dark wood. So not just dark, 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 so very dark. Okay. What was in the dark, dark room? So, after we see the dark, dark house, we see in the dark, dark house, there is a dark, dark room. What is in the dark, dark room?
There was a dark chest.
There was a dark, dark chest. Okay. Now, in the dark, dark chest, we have some things. First, we have a dark, dark shelf, and then we have a dark, dark box. What is in the dark, dark box? What was in the dark, dark box? In the dark, dark chest, there was, oh, did I forget to skip one? Oh, sorry. Where was the dark, dark shelf? What did you say? In the dark, dark chest. Sorry, actually, I'm making many mistakes. Okay. Let's write, it was, because we want to use full sentences, it was in the dark, dark chest. Okay, and the last one, so on the dark, dark shelf, in the dark, dark chest, we have a box, a dark, dark box, not just a normal box. And what was in the dark, dark box? There was a ghost. There was a ghost in the dark, dark box. Do you believe in ghosts? Yes, you believe in ghosts? Yes. I think sometimes I believe in ghosts. But okay, so make sure you wrote down the answers, and then I will erase this, and we will move on. Okay. Are you afraid of ghosts? Yes, you are afraid of ghosts? I don't think ghosts are scary. Okay, so let's see. Now we will go to the next story, The Night It Rained. Oops. Okay. The Night It Rained. So I will read the book and you can follow along. Let's go to this page. It was late at night. I was driving past the cemetery when I saw a boy standing in the rain. Do you want to ride home? I asked. Yes, please, he said. I live on Front Street next to the school. I handed him my old sweater. It is cold tonight, I said, and you are wet. You had better put this on. After that, we did not talk. When we stopped at his house, I said, keep the sweater. I will get it tomorrow. What is your name? Jim, he said. Thanks for the ride. I stopped for the sweater the next day. A woman came to the door. Is Jim at home? I asked. I have come to pick up my sweater. She looked at me in a strange way. It must have been another boy, she said. Jim is our son, but he has been dead for almost a year. He is buried in the cemetery. I told her how sorry I was, and I left. I did not know what to think. The next morning, I went to the cemetery. I wanted to see Jim's grave. Lying across the grave was my sweater. Dun dun dun. So that is the end of the story. We don't know why the sweater is on Jim's grave, but the driver found his sweater there. Okay, so let's answer some questions now about this story. So the first question is, where did the driver meet the boy? Where did the driver meet the boy? They met past the cemetery. What was he doing when he met the boy? This is not a question in the book, but I am going to ask. They met past the cemetery, and what was the driver doing? Yes, he was driving. So he was driving, and the boy was outside standing in the rain. I don't know how to spell cemetery. Okay, cemetery. We met past the cemetery. Okay, number 2. Where was the boy's house?
On Front Street next to the school.
Yes. It was on Front Street next to the school. Okay. When I read this book, my school was on Front Street, so I thought it was very scary because I said my school is on Front Street. Maybe this boy is at my school. It was different Front Street. There are many Front Streets in America. Okay. Next question. Why did the driver want to give his sweater to the boy? You can find that answer on these pages, 44 and 45.
It's cold
Hmm?
It's cold tonight.
Yes, it was cold that night, yeah. And how was the boy? Was he was something too. The boy was what? It was cold, and the boy was
Wet.
The boy was wet. Yep. If you are cold and wet, you can get sick very easily. So it is good to get a sweater. Okay, number 8. Where did the boy get off? Oh, I gave these the wrong numbers. 5, 6, 7. Number 8. Where did the boy get off after the driver drove him home? Where did he get out of the car and get off? So where did the boy get off? The question has the same meaning as where did the boy get out of the car? So here we see on this page, he gets in the car. Boy gets in the car. On the next page, we see him, he gets out of the car. Where are they when they get out of the car? Where are they when the boy gets out of the car? Yes, he gets out at his house. So we can say, he got out, is it get off? Yes, he got off at his house. Okay. Now, the next question. Why do we think Jim's mother looked at the driver in a strange way? So, later, on the next day, Jim goes and he meets Jim's mother. She looks at him strange. Why do you think she looks at him strange? So here we can see on this page, he goes to Jim's house and he wants to talk to Jim. And then Jim's mom looks at him strange on the next page. What does he say? He says, "Is Jim at home? I have come to pick up my sweater." So why do we think the mom looks at him strange when he comes to her house and says this? What? Jim was what? No, I think you're right. Jim was dead. Yes, Jim was dead. And did the man think Jim was dead? No. Jim was dead. The man. Why? So the man wants his sweater. So where does the man think his sweater is? The man thinks, this is where my sweater is. Where does he think the sweater is? Jim's house. Yes, so he thinks the sweater is at Jim's house. And if he thinks the sweater is at Jim's house, that means the woman knows, the man thinks Jim is not dead. And now, because he thinks sweater is at Jim's house, the woman knows, the man thinks Jim is not dead. Does that make sense? Yes. So Jim was dead, but the man thought Jim was at home with his sweater. And she knows, Jim can't have your sweater. Jim is dead. She knows. He doesn't know. So she thinks it's weird. Why does he think Jim has my sweater? She doesn't know. Why does the man think Jim has my sweater? Has his sweater. Okay, so what happened to Jim? And where was his body? Jim was dead and he was buried. Jim was dead and his body was buried in the cemetery. Okay, last question. The next morning, where did the driver find his sweater? So where was the sweater? You were right. Where was the sweater? Yes, the sweater we can see in the picture and the words on this page. He goes to the cemetery. He wants to see Jim's grave, but he is surprised. His sweater was on Jim's grave. So he's surprised to see his sweater on Jim's grave. Okay. So that is the last question for today. A lot of reading today. A lot of reading and nothing else. So I hope your brains aren't hurting. I'm going to erase this and then I will write the homework for today and then that will be all. So homework. It's April now. Happy April. Okay, so the homework is going to be read in a dark room 3 times with the CD and study all vocab. I know it's a lot of words for the quiz and get parent signature. Okay? And that will be due on Tuesday. Okay, so that's the end of the lesson. I hope you had a good day and learned something, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Today a reader, tomorrow a leader. SSET Englishtown.